And I want to welcome everyone to Good Morning Cannabis. And I have my friend Karen Adamsbaum. Did I say it right?
Yes, you
Okay,
did.
great. So Karen, before we even get into who you are, we always ask our guests the same question. So what's the craziest thing that ever happened to you?
Sure. So craziest thing is I was at a Knicks Pacers game back in the early 90s when the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers were big rivalries. And I was at Market Square Arena when it used to be Market Square Arena. And what happened was it always got to the end where they had to do overtime and who was going to win to advance to the next round of the playoffs. And that's exactly the intensity of this game. And it so happened that John Starks hit a three and the Knicks won. And I was hooting and hollering. It was great. But I also had my Knicks baseball hat on. And there was an Indiana fan, and he was so upset that he came up and he kind of like gave me a little shove and then he flicked my hat off.
Oh
And
man,
I was
that's
just like, really?
wow.
You're going to do that to me? And then also a guy beating up on a girl. But that was the craziest thing.
So did you settle it with him? Did you push him back?
No.
Because that would make it
No.
for an even more interesting story. And then that would have been so tell us a little bit about yourself and your company, and we'll get on to some questions.
Sure. So Karen Adamsbaum from the John Morgan McLachlan Agency, and I'm a partner here. I've been here 11 years now and been in the insurance space now for about 20 years, just a little over 20 years. And one of the reasons I got into the insurance space is because I used to be in the computer space, and with Y2K, year 2000, switching over back in 2003, I kind of came behind the eight ball as far as technology when it comes to computer programming. So I started working at this insurance agency as their web developer. And while I was there, the gentleman was asking me to do more and more in the insurance space. And I went and I got my license, and I absolutely love what I do. And the reason why I love what I do is because insurance is like computer programming. There's more than one way to get to the end result, and that is using your knowledge and your creativity and thinking out of the box. And when you're able to do that with your clients and give them more options for their solutions, then it's a win-win. And that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. So tell me, if someone is in the cannabis space or supporting a cannabis industry, what are some of the challenges they're going to face when it comes to insurance?
Sure. So one of the biggest challenges for me is that when I'm working with those, everybody's excited. It's a new industry, it's a new vertical, but there's still rules and protocols and safety precautions that need to be put in place when it comes to getting insurance. You just can't say, all right, I'm going to fill out an application, I'm going to mail it in, hopefully I get my license, and then I do, and I'm approved, and now I can open a dispensary and I'm going to make a whole lot of money. It doesn't work that way. You need to, when you get that license, you need to think like a business owner and think about all the different exposures at hand for that dispensary. I'm just using this dispensary for the example, and make sure that you have protocols in place to mitigate, to limit or remove or make that exposure less and less. So then the underwriters can look at it and say, all right, Bobby Jones is really being precautious with this. And when you are thinking ahead and putting protocols in place for safety and what have you, the underwriters will look at that and you will shine. So that's the biggest obstacle, because everybody thinks that, all right, I'm just going to fill out an application, I'm going to mail it in, I'm going to get approved, I'm going to rent a building, I'm going to find a grower, and whoop, here I am, with insurance. And it doesn't work that way.
And why do you think there are so few insurance companies who want to do this kind of work?
Because it's not common right now. See, what happens is when an insurance company agrees to put coverage in place, they've already done all of the statistics, the actuarial data to determine, okay, what is the probability of loss? And with the cannabis vertical industry, those exact numbers haven't been determined yet. So the insurance companies are kind of on edge about offering coverages. So what they're doing is they're all waiting for everybody else to jump in. And then once they see that the other insurance companies are jumping in, then they'll jump in. But there's a few players that are just scared to make that first move.
But you guys are not scared.
I'm sorry?
You're not scared. You definitely don't look like a scared person.
No.
That's great. So, okay. And as far as shopping insurance, is there a particular recommendation that you give to clients?
Absolutely. The easiest way to explain it, see, insurance is a necessary evil, and not a lot of business owners or the public know about it. So the easiest way to explain it to them is that when you get coverage or you get a quote, don't look at what coverages you have, look at what exclusions you have, because the exclusions will dictate what's left over as far as coverage. So if you have a lot of exclusions on your policy, what are you paying for? What are you covered for? So the first step is to look at the exclusions, and then from there you can look into the different layers of coverage.
Gotcha. So Karen, tell us, how did you actually get involved in the cannabis space?
This is a great question, and it's one of my favorites to answer.
Great.
What happened was back in 2018, I started attending cannabis seminars, and my very first one was with Dr. David Kunick. And it was in Morristown, and I sat in front of the room. We were at the top of the bar, and I sat in front of the room and I listened and what have you. And then the second one happened, like 3 months later, he had another one, and I went again. And I sat in front of the room again and I listened. And afterwards, I went up to him and I said, listen, I said, this is a great presentation. I was like, but you talked about a lawyer, you talked about an investor, and you talked about an accountant. I was like, where's your risk management? And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, well, all business owners need insurance. I said, so where's your risk management when it comes to the cannabis industry? And he looked at me and he's like, huh. I was like, here I am. And from then on, it's been, smooth sailing. What I did was I reached out to my underwriters and I said, listen, East Coast is going to be booming in a few years. What do we need to do to get products available for our clients? And started talking to my underwriters, and we started engaging and working with different companies, and here we are. So it was just me going to seminars back in 2017 and 18. And then I just kind of grew upon that. And now I'm very heavily involved. I do speaking engagements as well in the cannabis industry. And I've even co-wrote the cannabis curriculum for Stockton State University.
Awesome.
So good stuff. And I like it because it's by doing these kinds of things, you're staying abreast of all the new data that's coming about.
That's good. So if someone wants to find you, get in touch with you, tell us where they could find you. Like what's your email address? What's the website and all the rest?
Sure. So my email address is Karen, Karen, at insuranceagent.com, no S's or anything like that. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram. I also have a YouTube channel. You could just Google my name. And then I also have a website called KarenAdamsbaum.com. And that will give you all of my resources where you can get a hold of me, and then all of my writing material that I've done in the insurance industry.
Awesome. And also, I'll see you at the 420 Connect event.
You will.
Yep.
You will.
So that's something else that we'll be looking forward to coming up. So Karen, thank you. I'm going to say goodbye, and we will talk again. I promise.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.